that okay?
That's good.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can. Your mic is live.
Okay. Shall I begin? I've got a few treats for all my friends in the audience. We're going to give them out after. My mother is, I'm Filipino. She's an amazing cook. So she made cupcakes for quite a few people last night. So I said, hey, Mom, I'm presenting at this conference. She's like, can I make something? I say, yeah. Okay, here we go. All right, so my name is Reggie Vasquez. My full name is Regaledo Vasquez. I'm Filipino. I am a full-time teacher in Halton District School Board at a school called W.H. Morden. Yep. My earmuffs are over the side. My superintendent's here, and I was going to give him the earmuffs because my filter when I present. I'll try to be good. Okay, so my topic is AstroJediChef. Why? Because I think there are so many things, qualities that we as teachers can pull from these three professions, concepts, ideals. So I wrote some books, got published a few years ago. I did a program for Good Life Fitness. It was the first kids program, a pretty grand scale. This is me up top in the Serengeti Plains writing curriculum. In the Philippines, rainforest, Great Barrier Reef, and then Uluru. Just being able to find inspiration all over the world. It's really important. This is my inspiration as well. This is my little girl.
Look at the stars in shining sun.
My other girl.
Look at the grass, it's shining above.
What do you have, glue?
To the stars and you'll see them grow. Look.
Daddy was in trouble. Daddy was in trouble. For those parents out there. Oops. Yep, Daddy. Okay. IPS, Ideal Performance State. I was a high-performance coach for Tennis Canada, traveled internationally, lectured Australian Open, China, US Open in New York, South Africa, everywhere. Ideal Performance State, the zone in which we perform. Ideal performance state is where we want to be with our students. It's how we deal with stress, how we are able to endure different amounts of stress and intensities over a full day. And this is really important. Jim Lear, the sports psychologist who worked with former Olympic athletes like Dan Jensen, the skater, David Cox, which is our Tennis Canada sports psychologist working with high-performance athletes at Tennis Canada. These breathing techniques, these ways of thinking to be able to calm our being, meditation, relaxation, recovery. I do this in my practice. And sometimes what we need to be able to do, I'm kidding. In my practice, I use humor. So it could be performance or it could be humor. That's what I do all the time. And my kids are always laughing. Really important. My mother loved me, and she let me go. And I'm hoping you could also do that with your students. So yeah, I didn't know back then, but you know what? My parents loved me and they supported me. And it's so important for us to be able to, as teachers, give that to our students. I want to stay as close to the edge as I can without going over. Out on the edge, you see all kinds of things you can't see from the center. Big, undreamed of things. Kurt Vonnegut. Pushing the envelope. I believe this crowd is pushing the envelope going forward. you wouldn't be here. So you're in that growth mindset. Like George Kuro says with Innovators Mindset, his book, I think it's important we think like this. Jedi. Okay. Beginning of the year, my kids are a self-contained, gifted grade 5 classroom. I've taught grade 1, I've taught many grades. They wouldn't share. We call a non-gifted program sometimes the moniker of community, and then a self-contained gifted, just a gifted program. So all these kids that were in a community program that knew most of the answers, maybe were the tops in their grade in community, they come to a self-contained. Now everybody is supposed to be a superstar. So I would do a mini lesson and I'd say, any questions? Any questions? And they wouldn't want to put their hand up. And I'm like, whoa, I'm a solid teacher because everybody understands what I'm doing. But they wouldn't put their hand up. And then all of a sudden, what I'd actually hear is something, I just hear this. Right? I'd hear that. And then I'd be, I'd walk around, I'd sit down, I'd get on my computer, or I'd be talking to somebody, then I'd hear something like, it'd be like this. Over and over until they would come to wherever I was sitting. Every day for weeks. Why? They didn't want to lose face. I needed to figure out a way where they were in a safe environment, where they would be able to save each other when the other one didn't know the answer. They were embarrassed. The top kids in community coming into a self-contained gifted program, now they are the same as everybody, which I love. Afraid. When they were brilliant outside and all these years of schooling, and all of a sudden they come into my classroom and they don't want to answer questions. So the Jedi was instilled. Community. It's about forming team, depending on each other, creating a safe environment. So critical. Some of you have this. Behaviors come in your classroom, you're fending off all these like a Jedi. Boom, boom, boom. Just ad-libbing, working quickly, using GAFE tools or GAF tools, using iPads and all this tech to be able to get them back on task. I use Google Classroom to launch all my information, most of it. On the back end of Google Classroom, we put MP3s and a spreadsheet. So I post my stuff on Google Classroom, and then if somebody needed help, this is what they did. They would post the question on the stream, and they would fire up their Obi-Wan Kenobi, help me. So then if you needed help, you would literally type Google Classroom, I need help on how to figure out how to do editing for a Google Doc. Then they'd fire up help me Obi-Wan, and then if you were busy, focused on your work or something, or you weren't, you'd go to the stream and you'd read it on your computer because we're a one-to-one classroom. Everybody's got their own devices. And then they would fire up their lightsaber, and then they'd put their whiteboard marker in their laptop like this, and we knew that they were on duty, on the mission to be able to save whoever was in trouble. And they got a kick out of it. Here are kids with A+, A's, like level 4s, and they're like embracing this, and I'm like, what? I was just first trying to do it and figure it out how we can get a team, but they embraced it. So they actually do this. I did it in grade 1 as well, and they loved it. So this is my classroom, a little bit different.
Vader, 3/4 closed, desktops, apples turned over. Okay. Everyone was saying something. Tia's spreadsheet's up right now. We're good with sharing, no problem, they can edit it. If you've already started working on your how-to video, perfect.
Oh. It's important because I talk really quick. So they're Jedi, right? So I'm going to show some videos, some 360 videos of my room as well, so you get really immersed. When Vader is around, everybody pays attention. So if anybody needs help, the class goes, Vader, and everybody goes, Vader, 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 Vader. And you've got attention. It works in my class. They love it. I said, Tia, she's one of my students. I said, does anybody create a spreadsheet for me, please? Can you create a spreadsheet? Put it up on Google Classroom. I need the first column being the name, the second column being the subject. Let me know when that's going to be done, okay? Tia, can you do that? Great. Everybody else, what we're doing is working on how-to videos, so we're going to be able to, let's do a little inquiry and figure out what we're going to do with Sustainable Development Goals. Okay? Let's go. Mr. Vasquez, spreadsheets up. Okay, let's go. Spreadsheets up. And I empower my class. Now I scaffolded that. They do it. I sit back and facilitate. Really, really important. That's good. Keep going. Way to go. We have some whiteboard tables, and I'll go over that after. Chris, you good? You on? What? Well, Tia, if you can see, there's one, one projector there, a projector on there, and then I've got a TV, an old TV, and I use my old stuff. I use a lot of my old stuff in my room, so I have 3 areas where I can project. Not new stuff, old stuff, broken stuff. Very important to utilize. One of the kids puts up on this screen, everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. And so my kids are like, they put up these inspirational posters. At lunchtime, we say, let's go to the beach. And then before, we would put our YouTube videos up. Now I've jigged it so everybody has videos on my YouTube. So then I log into our 3 consoles, and basically the kids say, we're going to the beach. And then they put up their beach. We're going to eat on top of a mountain. And so during nutrition or during art, they put up videos for inspiration or pictures. It's their classroom. All right, so I said humor. Okay, these are real true. This is when Elmo's sometimes in the house. Grade 1. This was on the way to our lead learner, ICT. I didn't know my superintendent of education was going to be there. I did not know. So Mr. Truffin, I didn't know he was going to be there. And I don't know if I would have changed anyways, and these are my 2 girls, Princess Leia. These are my Jedi. This is Halloween. Paper Bag Princess. And this is a real elf on the shelf, if you can see that. I dare you. I dare you. I believe in you. I trust you. I believe you're going to change the world. I say these things to my students. I say them. I look in their eye, and I say, I trust you. I believe in you. I don't say them all together, because it's kind of corny, but I say, you're going to change the world. I know it. And I do it slowly, and I take my time, and I mean it. I owe it to them to do the best that I can. We're going to see some GoPro stuff. So the other one that you saw was GoPro. These are some of my friends. Truly wonderful, the mind of a child. We need to remember that. I also believe truly wonderful, the mind of a teacher, an educator, a facilitator, an EA, a superintendent. She's 4 years old.
Yeah.
Multitasking. Siri, backyardigans. Scribble nuts. They can do it. As long as you scaffold it, they're watching you. And you know this. Do you really know it? Because they're listening. I know this with my class right now and last year as well. They're hearing you. And when an adult comes in, they're there. They're not looking at you, but they heard. And I'm very aware of this, of language in my classroom. We always have busy days. This is a scene where, I'll just go really quick on this one because I don't want to be, I've got a lot of things to share. Have you seen this? I wanted to show some Star Wars up here because it's a huge screen. It's like, oh my gosh, if I had popcorn, but I've got cupcakes. It's like, how cool is that, right? Okay, you know what? I'm going to put it because it's so cool. Just for a bit, okay? Just humor me. I'm thinking this is on students, off task, on task. I'm also thinking this is right now my supply teacher, and these are my students getting ready today. We're getting ready for you. And here come my Sith lords. Here they come, back and forth. The Millennium Falcon is not a new ship. You know that. It's an older ship. It's a beautiful ship, but it's not the metal that makes this special. It's not. It's the people behind it. It's you. It's not your new MacBook. It's not your new PC. It's you. It's you and your students and your team. You make the difference. Sometimes I feel people rely too much on new technology. It's not that. It's never been that. It's you, your relationship with your student, and tech will accentuate that, magnify it, even old tech. You just have to be innovative. 853 posts, 966 comments, grade 1 in Milton, 1,200 students in a school, 100 computers. It was a holding school. So we had 3 schools in one. Grade 1 students, I had, just for minority race, I had 2 Caucasians. Everybody else was English as a second language. 7 of them were pulled with ESL help support. 3 of them were NYR, not yet reading. But we did this from November to June. They did this. It's important because they did this on 4 computers. 1 computer from the school, 1 old Dell that was crazy glued back, and my sister gave me an old Mac Square little mini, and another one with a cracked screen that I had to hook up. This one is a cracked screen right there with duct tape on it. Duct tape's awesome. To there. 4 computers. That many comments. You can do that. I know it. Kahoot. Everybody knows Kahoot, right? Let's play Kahoot. Let's play soccer together. Quizzes. All these beautiful things. Oh, we did this with 26 kids. But I did it in a way that I think, just thinking outside of the box, they're holding up science. So we have 6 kids per table, or 7 kids per table. Because my computer area is one section, it's hardwired into the wall, so that we would have 4 kids sitting, getting ready to punch in the triangle, square, octagon, and the other kids would be, as you saw, they would be very excited. They'd talk, and then they'd congress with each other, and then he's holding up his triangle to like, this is the answer. So they talk, yeah, square, no, triangle, yeah. And then they'd punch it in, and they loved it. We don't need one-to-one computers. We don't need it. You can have blended learning, all those blended learning models. If you don't know what blended learning is, look it up. There's like 4 or 5 different models that you can use to really make it happen. And they loved it. They didn't know what it was like to be one-to-one the whole year. 1,200 students, 100 computers, maybe 120 computers in carts. I don't know. Okay. This is dedication. I'm in my dentist. I gave my principal, needed something. Anyways. Haters of tech. Get out of sticky situations. My supply teacher has extensive plans on the behaviors of my children. If the Wi-Fi goes down, they're good to go. Chef. We own a place called Reggie's Place. That's not me, that's my brother. We grew up as creative Filipinos. Being a chef is something that's very hard, like a teacher. We didn't stop working at 5 o'clock. It went into the night. We saw our kids, we see our family, we go back and work in the restaurant. On the weekends, we did the same thing. You do the same thing. I know you do. Create an experience. Really important. Oops. A little giggle. I saw that right here. This was my elementary schooling. This is last year at a school in Canada somewhere. And this is what may be happening now. I'm not sure. I'm not out into the schools. I'm in my school. It's a little concerning. There's no collaboration there. It's so hard. They're static. They're not together. They're not building that team. I actually went to one of these colleges or universities, I won't say which, and this was actually what the next stage was. It's not a friendly environment. Chef, restaurant. Your favorite restaurant, you go with your loved one, it's got to have something in it. Be comfortable. If your classroom's not comfortable, I really think you're missing the boat. It's a whole, you have to create an experience. Dive in. You're here already. You're almost there if you haven't already. It's that physical, active learning space, which is really important. My wife and I, when we're just getting ready to go to bed, she's reading her book, and she's thinking, honey, this armoire, I'd really think about, I want to see if we can get another armoire for this, because this one's getting old, and I'm like thinking, I wonder what it's like if I could green screen my whole room. So I did. So, you see that? Is it coming up? Cool. This is a 360 of my room, as long as I can get some Wi-Fi in here. If not, I'll post it somewhere and you can see it. I use the Theta for this, but you can use a Street View app for free. I'm just going to probably have to take about 13 shots to go right around. Come on. Just letting you know, my room has whiteboard tables, $9.80 from Home Depot. Every table has a whiteboard on it. I use markers that we tape up to our corners. I'll come back on the, oh, good. I'll just move it around. So, whiteboard, 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 projector. In the corner there's a couch, couch right here, couch right there, couch right there. Whiteboard tables, elevated table that I'm going to show you in a few minutes on that one. So there's a lot of things that you can do in your classroom as long as you're creative. And you have the support of your superintendent and your principal. Try one little couch first. Sorry. We have lighting that we use in my classroom. I'm not hooked up to my Wi-Fi, so it's safe. I use Philips lighting, and they just sent this to me yesterday, my kids. I said, can you show the audience what you do? Because these are Wi-Fi special lamps, and so every place they sit, they tailor their lighting intensity. I give them my Wi-Fi code. It's not hooked up to our Wi-Fi. It's safe, Mr. Superintendent. But they can go high, low. If they have mindful moments, they can turn that light off. They bring their own devices into my classroom. So they can go bright, yellow, blue, et cetera, but they tailor it to what they think. You can do this with lamps CSA approved. You can do that. Stress relievers. IPS, Ideal Performance State. So I look over and I'm saying, what are you doing, Gary? And what he's showing is a GIF that I created.
What is that?
It's the stress reliever gift.
Do you stress reliever?
Yeah, it actually relieves stress.
I was dancing. They're watching you. So when you're dancing, They might know this. I know this. But they use that for enjoyment, to relax. I'll see if I can bring this one up, because you might like this one too. I green screen the whole room. I just want to show you what it's like if, oh, the Wi-Fi. It's as if they are in the ocean. And it's pretty cool if I can get this going. What are we at there? Is that the highest? Is that the highest? Because it's not done right then and there, but I just overlap it, and it takes 2 minutes. 2 minutes, not then and there live. 2 minutes, and then I post it up on their projector, and it's as if they're in the ocean. So you're going to see rocks, and when they're working, there's effects with sounds. It's not a theta. You don't have to use theta, $500, just a Street View Google app. You can do this on Monday. Just risk it. Anyway, so that was something else that I thought you might like, but it's taken too long, so I'm not going to go there. Okay, laminated charts. Some of you might have some of these. It's not wrong. You've done some great work there, I'm sure of it. But it's important that you use these. There was a big couch there, and the couch was also laminated, but it's not working. So it was a laminated couch, and it's a beautiful couch, not my couch. But what do your students think when you have laminated charts hanging out? Likely nobody in here is doing that. But if a friend is, just plant a seed very softly and maybe make some suggestions how they could bump that up to the next level of teaching. Because these charts, I'm sure, are working for them. But we don't want to scare them away. You just want to be able to say, this is a beautiful recipe. This is a beautiful lesson plan. You've had all kinds of, you've had some math, you've had some language, you've spiced it up by using this technology. This could really be an amazing lesson. Let's co-teach, let's co-plan. In our board, we have some initiatives with our IT department through our superintendent that they're releasing some of our teachers for co-planning, co-teaching. Our lead learners. It's just a beautiful thing. We need to be able to access our community. The lessons that we use are together. We're creating. This was our old restaurant, but the thing that I wanted to show was up here. Because in the restaurants that we've owned, it's always chalk. You're my client. Your client's tastes change. It's important that we adapt to our client. You don't eat macaroni and cheese, or you don't eat that steak $200 every day. We can't afford it, maybe. Probably not. I can't. But even if you ate that steak every day, you're going to get sick of it. So we don't want laminated menus. We don't. We don't want laminated things. We want to always change through these kinds of thinkings. Not everything's the same. What you ate yesterday was different from the day before. This is for sure. We balance. Fast food, exit tickets, good fast food. This is $18,000 for this dish, gold-plated leaf. This is $1.11, $1.12. What's your lesson? Is it the most expensive tech? Is it good tech? Is it, in 50 minutes, is it a combination of some language, some art, some science, co-created together, putting in some spice by giving them, instead of 50 minutes, 40 minutes, putting a little bit more spice, taking away some technology, adding this technology, balancing it out. So thinking like a chef to be able to manipulate how they think, ingesting delicious meals every day. My girls, Daddy makes Kraft macaroni and cheese dinner, they hate it. We went on a States trip, Applebee's, Velveeta, they hated it. Mummies, they loved it. They learned, I learned, Mom, I love you. Processed Kraft macaroni and cheese Mommy made sometimes. I love that flavor, but I also love the others. My girls learned a certain type of flavor. That means your children, your students, are eating what you're serving, and their tastes change. So we have to do that self-reflection about what are we serving our students, really important. Global goals. Zoe at Bring IT about 2 years ago, she talked to this, I think, Brannigan Pipe, and she talked about sustainable goals. Well, we followed this up. There were 8. Now they're doing 17 global goals for sustainable development. Really important. So we're doing these green screen videos about this. I needed a pitch to be able to do this. And so what I did was I sang a song. I said, "Do you want to eat spaghetti or some meatballs on the side? I don't want to have a Diet Coke. I'd rather have a root beer and some fries. I used to eat poutine, but now I don't. Too many fat calories. Do you want to eat some crickets? It doesn't have to be some crickets. Mealworms and slime." Okay, growth mindset. I need 3 volunteers. Cupcakes with crickets. Come here. We're going to distribute them as I'm continuing to teach. Real crickets. I'm going to show you where they're from. Don't worry, I didn't find them in the grass field. So, up and down. If you've got that growth mindset, I challenge you. Yeah, let's go. These are photo ops. So if you have one of those, I would like show your kids, this is what I did. And then, oh, it's right there. It's not like, who was it? Kyle Kitchen with his nice gifts, but those are real. I would take a picture. So like, can you go to each other and say, like, I'll take your picture? Like, do it. This is where they're from. I'll show you. Growth mindset. My kids did it. They ate just the bugs, though. Take a picture, do it. You're not going to get this chance like tomorrow or the next week. They're special. They're mealworms, and they're from here, Entomo Farms. Do it. Here, we Skyped with the insect lady. This is where they're from. Take that photo app. Do that selfie. They bid on it. Bum. They loved it. Entomo Farms donated those, just letting you know, and my mom. So make sure you share. My kids do all kinds of learning through paper, desktop, whiteboard tables, iPads. They know it all. Is Brian Aspinall in here? Is Brian Aspinall in here? Is he here right now? No? Joe Archer's in here? Is Aspinall in here? Archer, okay. You might like this. Check it out. Enjoy your cupcake.
It's so beautiful. What happened? The land, the rain.
That's coding. That's Scratch in the background.
Who are you?
This is Scratch. They coded their background. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't guarantee if they're not nuts. That's from Mom, who loves me, so I want to make sure if there's nuts, I don't take responsibility for that, but at your own risk. Okay? Thank you. For this, if you take a look, so this is green screen, Scratch, iMovie, some use GarageBand, and iPad apps. We smash them together. So then the coding that you're seeing, instead of a video in the backdrop, is actually coding raindrops.
Everything. Who are you? Someone who can tell you what happened.
I showed them.
Will you tell
They decided. All kinds of different things. So that's pretty cool, I thought, that they're doing raindrops for acid rain, global.
rain that comes down?
Pretty cool.
Acid rain.
Different. Astronaut. W.H. Morden, Oakville, home of Chris Hadfield, grade 5, gifted student in the past. I don't know if you know that. I was inspired by that. I walked in my classroom the first year I was there. I've been there 2 years, and I was like, whoa, this is Chris Hadfield. This is his place. There was a picture in our office. And I'm like, honestly, that little nugget said to me, let's do something sciencey. I'm not a science guy. I'm a growth mindset kind of guy, yeah, for sure. There's Hadfield in my school. So I applied to this scholarship, and I won the scholarship for a week last year, and I was one of 2 teachers in Canada to represent, which was great. All over the world, 100 teachers were flown in, treated like stars, immersed, fully immersed. And this is where I pulled away into our classroom. I tried to figure out, you know what, that immersive experience we did, multi-axis disorientation simulators, all kinds of things that were in space training. I think sometimes our classrooms are like this. You're alone. Your students are with you, yes, definitely. But as a team, you're not with your others as a team, cohesive. And sometimes you might feel like you're alone out there, but you're not. The space station, the ISS, is a huge, huge place with many teams in there from different countries. It's just like us, but we need to be able to access other people. We need to be able to trust other people, which is really important. So these things, I'm just going to go quick on this one here. All immersive, even from the water that filled in. Actually, one teacher was screaming like crazy. And from this, the dropping, it was a full immersion. It was amazing. And if we can create these kinds of lessons, something like what we do, some of you do every day already, I know. This was right here at the very top, right here. I replicated that using an app called Space Team, free. What they're doing is they have an iPad, and they're reading their dialogue to another one, and people are listening, attentive listening. 4 different teams talking loud, listening clearly. They're hearing each other.
Chris, are you on? You're playing together?
Space Team.
Set low on to 6. Swallow pride. Swallow pride.
Swallow was the last thing, she was laughing. I created a whiteboard table that was something pretty different. You probably haven't seen this one, because I never did.
Take a picture of your desktop, make sure your name's on
Swivel.
it.
$9.80 top. Swivel, Lazy Susan, $12.90.
Sort on your drive or email it so we can give it
Special
back to the
glue,
other class as well.
$8. Priceless. Collaborative standing table. If you see, all whiteboard markers are underneath this. PVC tubing, $11.83. Sawed it, put the poles in the PVC, elevated, very sturdy. Right? You can do this. They loved it. They loved these white tables. They loved them very much. We have 2 rotating collaborative tables, one that's low and one that's standing. You can do it. You don't have to spend lots of money at all. I ran this program with Amy from my school for our Halton Skills Day, and we did a space mission. So they created a rover, and I just thought, let's bump it up. So I brought my green screens from my classroom and just put it into the gymnasium. And so kids from across the board came in. They created their rover. I made this out of styrofoam with my sister, who was a past artist. We worked together on this, and we made that, and then I just green screened. Same day, and then sent the pictures out. So all the schools have pictures of what they did. And the other teachers like, whoa, how did you do this? You know what, use Do Ink. It's going to cost you only $3.99. It's going to take you 30 seconds. or iMovie. Very easy. Free, right? $3.09, sorry. iMovie free. This is scaring me because sometimes when we teach the technology, I found that my kids using Google Classroom, which I love, halfway through the year, they didn't listen to my mini lessons as well. They evolved. They knew that I would put my information on the Google Classroom back end. So their attentive listening dropped off a little bit. And I think as learners, we need to be able to change the way we pitch. So I stopped using so many descriptions on my Google Classroom, only put resources on. Because I know and you know, as you're listening to me, you're typing, but you're also texting, and that's okay. But we are multitasking. And our students multitask, and we want them to look at us, but you know what? Some of them have the ability to look at you and listen, and some of them have the ability not to look at you and listen. It's the learner, and we need to self-reflect. So important. So this was a video that most of you have never seen this video because you're too young. You can tell by the recording devices. Look at that. Back in the day. Attentive listening. And then finally, what happened was, math on tape is hard to follow, so please listen carefully. And the professor's gone. So attentive listening, really important. Real genius. Okay, really important. Is Jonathan So in the audience? I know he tweeted something. No? Okay. You want to break up my crew 3 days before the launch, when we can predict each other's moves, when we can read the tone of each other's voices. Jim Lovett from Apollo 13. My supply teacher doesn't know the tone of my students. They don't know how they question. I know you do. It's really important that you share that information with your team. Give them the time to really know, because they deserve it. We owe it to them. And our learners are always changing, so we need to be able to work together as teams. So crucial. Astronaut. So what I thought was we would do some coding again. So we coded, casted the screen. They created this art, science, language, cross-curricular. So this is Chris. Okay, Chris, hook up. He's casting this video there. And then he's going to overlay it using an app, green screen, free, another one. And then he's going to cast it there. Our pilots are over there looking at that screen. They're going to be coding a spheros. All right. So then once it's coded, feed from the planet Vader. And you'll see the two pilots at the top moving and coding their spheros, looking as if they're on Mars, but they're seeing that. So I thought that was kind of cool the way, and that was all together. How are we going to do this? They said, Mr. V, let's make our surface green and then overlay it. It looks complicated. It's not. It looks complicated maybe. It's not. Real simple stuff. Coding is not difficult. You just need to try. Experts. Engineer in the classroom, Canadian champion Pokemon, software engineer using Theta, editor-in-chief, Jill Heinert, a scuba diver, explorer. Next week, we're going to go into the NASA Missions Control Center. We're going to Skype with this gentleman here, Mason, Southbrook Farmery, Winery, and the Bug Lady from Mintomo. Skype. This is a mother from our classroom. This is a father from our classroom. This is Christine, a designer on CBC in our classroom. Mother. So I'm accessing all these experts. We need to access them. You have experts on your team. Do you know somebody like you could be a valuable resource to somebody else. I know you know that. Sometimes you just got to throw it out there and say, hey, I'm there for you. So accessing each other is so important. Student experts. Up here at the very top, we were blogging internationally with Hawaii, New Zealand, and Kusha, one of my students, this is how you comment on our blogs. So instead of me telling the teacher and the students, he just made some video tutorials. This is our grade 1 a few years ago doing how to get to Mr. V's website. How to get to Mr. V's website. They were teaching another grade 1 class, and we mentored a grade 3 class. This year in grade 5, we are mentoring kindergarten, grade 1, 2, and 3 in my school. Why? We teach them, they're ready as they go up into older grades. Very important.
Use the Force, Luke. Let go, Luke.
The Force is strong in this one.
Luke, trust me.
Trust. We need to trust in each other. Faith. You have to have faith in each other. And hope. We always have to hold on to hope. Today, you know, this month is Poetry Month. You know this, yes? So, I just wrote something up a little while ago. Well, actually, a day and a half ago, I was like thinking, I need to sing this because it's National Poetry Month. So I'm going to, last song, okay? And then I'm going to wrap it up. Ready? Can you bear it? Can you bear with me? I'll try it, okay? Ready? Growth mindset. Oh, you know PowerPoint? I never used PowerPoint. But last night I had to figure it out, so I did. Growth mindset. And I risked it. And I'm okay with it. And I know you would forgive me if it messed up. I know that. I have faith in you. Do you want to own a PC or a MacBook on the side? Samsung's got tablets, you know, but iPad prices are so high. Sponsor, please. Sponsor, please. I used to use pen and paper, but now I don't. Just thinking about those trees. Do you want to learn some PD? At Connect, we're sitting right here. We might as well try. Ding, 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 ding. Do you want to build a PC on Arduino on the side? Problem's just I don't know how to code. But Brian Aspinall's coding, Michelle Cordy's hacking, Malala and Shiza's fighting, Kyle Kitchen's cooking, Tiffany is ninjaing, and everybody's learning all the time. I used to always worry, but now I don't. I'm learning at Connect PD. Do you want to learn some PD? At Connect, you're sitting right here. Teachers learning tech and pedagogy. Students, fine. That's it. I have hope in you. Thanks for coming. My information's on the website. Take care.